men, 20 men, 30 men. I'm on something. 10 men, 20 men, 30 men. That do what's up. 10 men, 20 men, 30 men. Yeah, drink 'em up.
You know what it is, man. DJ Thoro, a.k.a. Thorozano, Bridge to the Streets. Right now, you're watching the hottest in the streets right here on ThisIs50.com. We live from One World Studios. Shout out my man, Boy Wonder. You know how we do. Listen, I got a special guest in the building. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Champ. Director and marketing and advertising with YKTV Magazine. Co-host on my Expert Opinion show with Math Hoffa. All around connecting the bridge that closes the gap, man. That's what I do.
That's what he do. He's a man of many hats. He only got one hat right now, but he has many hats.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He has many hats. So let's just dive right into it.
All right.
I like to go chronologically. I'm all over the place when I talk.
Right.
My Expert Opinion. A lot of people watching this, they may say, "Oh, that's the guy from My Expert Opinion."
Yeah, the resident jailologist.
The jailologist. I like that. How did you land on in that position?
So, I met a woman named Shaw Newell. She's a life coach.
Okay.
And when I first came home, through a friend of mine, shout out to Dury, and we were talking. We were going to do some stuff with the criminal justice system and everything. And she was like, "I really like your vibe. I know somebody that you would work well with."
Right.
And I'm like, "All right, who?" She was like, Math Hoffa. So I'm like, that's the dude with the show in the barbershop, right? Because I didn't know about it prior to me getting locked up.
Right.
So she was like, yeah. So I went and checked it out and did my homework. I was like, oh, this shit is popping. So she put us on the phone together. We talked briefly. And a few weeks passed, and I wound up going to Made in America.
Okay.
Last summer in Philly.
Right.
And I was in the Duce Lounge, and he pulled up with his team. And I was like, oh, shit, that's Math Hoffa. So Mav didn't know what I looked like.
Right.
So he came up in the lounge or whatever. I went and introduced myself to him, and we just started kicking it. And I told him everything I had going on, a little bit about my past and all of that. And I was like, you know, you can check my resume. It's authentic. I ain't one of them fuck niggas.
Right.
So I guess he did his homework, and he was just like, yo, stop by the shop on Tuesday. This was Saturday. I was like, all right, cool. He said, just come by. I'm like, all right. So I come by the studio on Tuesday, and that's the interview he did, the viral interview with Uncle Murder and Tony Yayo.
So that was your first day?
That was my first time sitting in the barbershop.
Oh, snap.
I wasn't in the seat or nothing. I was in the background.
Right, okay. This is good to know.
Yeah, I came there prepared. Like, I came with a camera and everything because I'm used to collecting content, you know, based off the magazine.
Right.
And I sat there, and when I walked in, they didn't even start yet. And, you know, Yayo was like, yo, Champ, what up? Murder like, yo, what up? Because I didn't work with them before.
Right.
And it just went from there, man. I started working with him, and you know, just filling the voids where need be that I seen that he might have not saw,
right? And
just kind of made myself more valuable within his institution. Okay. And a few episodes later, I had got Al Bial on the show, and that's the first interview I sat in on.
Right.
And I've been there ever since.
Now, prior to that, were you doing interviews? Were you interviewing?
Yeah, I was interviewing people. I already had a long connection with different entertainers and artists, whether independent or major,
right?
Based off of the magazine that I work for, which is the #1 brand in prison entertainment, the biggest magazine in all the jails across the country.
And what is it called?
YKTV Magazine.
YKTV Magazine.
Yeah,
right.
You know the vibes.
And it's strictly catered to
the prison demographic.
The prison demographics.
All over the country.
Right.
So I was already interviewing people while I was in prison, over the phone, and then a lot of the cats that I was interviewing never knew what I looked like.
Right.
So when I finally was freed in May of 2021, I got in contact with people. One of the first people that had me pull up on him was Benny the Butcher.
Benny the Butcher.
Yeah, he worked with him.
Yeah, he's a friend of ours, so he comes in here. He records also at One World Studios. So
that's what's up.
Shout out to Benny.
Shout out to the whole BSF family. But that's family right there. And he had me pull up on him at a show he was doing in Long Island.
Okay.
Off his Bird in the Plugs tour.
Right.
And we locked in. He was like, yo, I appreciate the look with the magazine and all that. Like, a lot of my people's behind the wall appreciate it. Right. So we like, yo, let's do something else. And then we wound up doing another cover issue with Benny for him, Pretty Rick Hyde, and Heem. Right. And covering Rest in Peace DJ Shay. DJ Shay, right. And then we was just moving from there. And then I started connecting with everybody else. To Uncle Murder, Casanova 2 times, and other people that I work with.
Now, the only magazine that I'm highly familiar with that caters to the prison system, and God rest his soul, K. Slade. He had Straight Something.
Yep.
And that was directly for the jails. He was because of the girls, he had the eye candy, and you know.
He had all of that, man.
He had all that in there. You know what I'm saying? So
funny story with Slade, right? Rest in peace to K. Slade, and condolences to his whole family. When I was inside, I was in there with a good friend of his. He was in my housing unit.
Okay.
It's sad, man. I forgot this dude's name, but
it'll come to you.
He gave me Slade's number.
Okay.
He was like, yo, call Slade, and because I was like, yo, me and my partner, the owner of the magazine, shout out to Mr. Gyro, was like, yo, we need an advertisement. You know what I'm saying? Straight Something's everywhere. We need to get more viewership. Right. So I called Slade, and I was like, yo, how much you gonna charge us for like advertising for 2 pages? And he was like, you coming through my guys, so I'll charge y'all $1,200 for 2 pages.
Right.
But that 2 pages got us everywhere.
Right. Because
we already had a bunch of magazines out.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teachable moment right here. Invest in yourself.
Absolutely invest in yourself. It's going to cost a lot of sacrifice, but it's worth it in the end. And so a few months later, he hit us back and was like, yo, what is this? Like, this magazine, because it's like, you know, my sales ain't doing what they used to do, you know, based off of the magazine. I'm just like, yo, it's just a void that's filling the gap. I mean, I'm sitting in here and seeing what's missing. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I know the pulse of the market, so it's a little different. You know, we showing things that's happening on Instagram and, you know, Instagram models and memes. Like, dudes locked up didn't even know what memes was. Right. Until we started putting in the magazine. Okay. So it was just us shifting the culture of publication in the prison system in a way that we would give information to the incarcerated individual that they never had access to. Right. And it just took off from there. It took off from there. Now, you also, aside from the literature, you was involved with the music, getting music in there. Is that correct? In terms of getting people's albums or things heard throughout the prison system? Because so when I was in there, I didn't have that power. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When I came home, I gained it because I did so much research and homework to take a lot off of the independent artists or the major artists who doesn't know the opportunity presented to them by getting on JPay and GTL and stuff like that. And once I figured it out, I started, you know, contacting people, letting it be known on Math Show and everything, the opportunity that's there for them. So a lot of times what artists do is they'll hit me up and they'll be like, yo, I need to get on JPay. And I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll get you on JPay, that's not a problem, but how everybody gonna know that you exist? Right. On JPay, they like, that's a good question. And I'm like, you have to get in the magazine. Right. You have to get an advertisement page. Right. And then now it's just like it's moving exponentially where artists are seeing results from them being in the magazine and increase in sales on JPay with their records. So if an artist watching want to get in contact with you or get in the magazine or do business, what are the steps they should take? Well, a lot of times I'm big on Instagram, so I'm always in my DMs. So you can contact me through Instagram at hustlerealhard_82, the number 82. And just DM me and we'll go from there. Right. Now, when you say hustle real hard, you know who I immediately thought about? Mano. Mano, that's my guy. Yeah, shout out to Mano, man. Come on, wait a minute. His is like hustle hard. Is Mano a silent partner in this? Nah, man. That's my guy, though. That's my guy. Shout out to him, Jim, all of them brothers, man. It was a thing where it's like I needed to come up with a username that complements my character and how I really move, and I do hustle real hard. Like you said, I wear many hats. You wear many hats, and any real hustler don't just have one thing going on. Right. One thing I noticed from since I've met you, people speak highly of you. You know what I mean? You're well respected, especially in the streets. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's especially in the streets. That's dope. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. And I mean that in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That comes from prison. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did 4 state bids in and out of New York State Prison, plus a juvenile bid in Spofford. So if people don't know, a lot of times prison life or culture, etiquette, verbiage comes from prison. Right. And it spills onto the street. Even fashion. Yeah, people don't even know why they sag. Exactly. Why they would sag. Like, they don't even know that. Exactly. You know what I mean? It shifts the culture of the world out here. Even the braided hair.
the braiding of hair came from prison.
Exactly.
I mean, like if you like all of that came from prison.
Exactly.
You know.
So that like there was a lot of stuff I did in prison.
Right.
Essentially, that like I didn't do in the street. I did a lot of shit in the street, but my respect in the street wasn't where it should be in contrast to prison.
Right.
In prison, it's different because it's like I'm putting hands and feet on dudes. I'm going to the box. I'm fighting. I'm running a business.
Right.
Like I'm selling drugs. I'm doing all kind of shit. So it's like, yo, this nigga Champ is the go-to person. So that same energy I had in there, I just brought it home with me.
Right.
But I actually helped build something that was legit.
Right.
So I could stay out the streets once I came home.
See, I have this thing that I call manage. We got to manage what we glorify. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what I mean by that is, things don't need to be positive or negative. They need to be balanced. You know what I mean?
It has to be a balance.
It has to be a balance.
Mm-hmm.
And you coming from where you're coming from and what you've been through and where you are now, it's a testament to you can be that, but you can become this.
Right. Absolutely. You can transition.
You can transition.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. And I don't like when people glorify ignorance without giving them the outcome of that ignorance.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
I was never a fan of that. Like,
yeah.
If you're gonna glorify the ignorance, well, what's the outcome of what you just did?
Exactly. There has to be some type of outcome.
Right, you know what I mean? And no, that's the part of the story that they leave out, and you know, people follow suit and they get jammed up and they're like, oh shit, now I'm behind the wall. Where's the record for that?
Exactly.
There are any.
Where's the reasoning?
You know what I mean? So I commend you on that. You remind me a lot of Wallow. You know Wallow? What I mean by that, I mean in terms of accomplishments and where y'all come from.
I'm bald-headed.
Yeah, you bald-headed.
You know what I'm saying? I got hair on my face though. Wallow ain't got no hair on his face. And Wallow ain't got as much edge as me.
He don't got as much edge as you, right?
He got as much edge as me, man.
You and Wallow should do a tour together, man.
Yo, what's crazy is that what's crazy is that after we did Drink Champs in January, DJ EFN, shout out to Nori and DJ EFN. EFN was like, yo, you need to talk to Wallow, man. Y'all need to connect. I said, yeah, but I'm a small chip in a big cookie to him. You feel me? Like I gotta do more. I gotta get my weight up a little bit more to get his attention. At the same time, I'm not really concerned with it.
Right.
Because I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and when the universe allows it, it'll come around. We'll connect and make something happen.
Right.
But respect and salute to him. I love what he's doing.
Right.
Him and Gilly.
Well, not for nothing. You're on a credible platform just like he is. So in terms of knowledge and respect, that's equal as far as I see it. I never measure nobody higher or better based on accomplishment. It's about knowledge and what you bring to the table. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. You're right.
You like how I said that, right?
Yeah, that was dope. Sound like a prison philosopher.
Yeah, sound like a prison. We must excommunicate the philosopher. Word. So speaking like Mano, Uncle Murder, you speak highly of. Like, what is your relationship with Uncle Murder?
So Uncle Murder, the relationship I got with him is in 2019. A friend of his I was locked up with, shout out to Debo Brown. Okay. Connected the dots and was like, yo, you need to get Murder on the cover of the magazine. And it was around the time the 2019 wrap-up was about to drop. So
the infamous wrap-up.
Yeah. So we had spoke like in the summertime, but Murder was like, yo, I want to wait till toward the end of the year so I could lock down the jails and, you know, the wrap-up do what it do out here in the free world. Right. So we was like, all right, cool. So I did the interview with him over the phone. Everything went well. We put him on the cover. He shouted us out at the end of that wrap up, the magazine. Right. At that time, we were called Gyro, which meant Get Your Rocks Off. Okay. It's an acronym. And
acronym like that.
He said at the end of the wrap up, he said, check me out in that Gyro magazine too. Not GQ, Gyro magazine, the biggest magazine in the jails. Let's get it. And that did a lot for us as well. You know what I'm saying?
Words
with him
are powerful. Saying that. I can imagine.
Yep. And I know for a fact that like sales wise it did very well for him as far as the rapper being on JPay. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how me and him connected. Right. On that level, and we just, you know, kept a solid relationship since then. Right.
Now one thing about being in this room and just being in this industry, we're all what they call hip hop. I mean, we've been involved in some aspect of hip hop, whether it be the graffiti, whether it be the rapping, whether it be the DJing, the breakdancing, or the beatbox. Yes, people don't know that's an element of hip hop people forget about. You like how I did that, right?
I like that segue.
Yeah, you like how I did that, right? Speaking of which, You just so happened to beatbox. Where did you pick up that skill and how did you develop it?
So I've been beatboxing since I was like 7, yo.
Wow.
And it was just a natural born talent. Like I don't think there's a lot of people that like grow up and learn how to beatbox. Like it's something that's inbred in you. It's innate.
Right.
So like even at 7 years old, listening to Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh and all of that, I started mimicking it, and unconsciously I would walk around the crib just beatboxing Children's Story or 6 Minutes and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I just kept going as more music would come out. I used to get punished a lot, so I'd be in the house listening to the radio all day, and I would mimic everything I heard like effortlessly. And it actually saved me the first time I went to prison.
Hold that real quick. Fun fact: did you know DMX was beatboxing before rap?
Yep.
Yeah, he was a beatboxer. Yeah.
He used to be out on the block, holding down the ciphers.
Yep. But continue. A lot of people didn't know that. I just wanted to share that in case they didn't know that.
Yeah. No, that's a dope fact. And what happened was in '96 I went to Spofford in the Bronx. Anybody know at that time it was the White Building on Spofford Avenue. Right. So I came in the housing unit, not being totally oblivious to prison and how everything goes, and I'm around a bunch of gangbangers. I'm about 14 years old at the time, pretty light-skinned nigga with curly hair, you know what I'm saying? And definitely a target, you know what I'm saying, coming up in there. So I didn't know the institution and the rules of what they called a brick. A brick was a chair, and if everybody had assigned seats, depending on who was like the toughest. Right. What shows niggas watched on TV at a certain time, who got on the phone at a certain time. Even at that time, that we used to share the yard with the females. Oh, wow. So dudes had their little girlfriends and all of that, you know what I mean? And I'll be in the yard and they be kicking it with me. I'm the new fly light-skinned nigga. Right. And, you know, I get jumped, whatever the case may be. But the first time I went in there, dudes was like, yo, bro, you gotta run your feets and all that, you know, this is what it's hitting for. I'm like, all right, hold on a minute. All right, I got you. When I was walking back to my cell, I heard dudes rapping. Right. Like just freestyling, like the gangbangers, the tough niggas. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should go over there and show them what I got. Right. You know what I mean? And I went over there and I started, this was 96, so like I said, It Was Written was out, Iron Man was out, shout out to Ghostface, that was like my favorite album at that time.
Ghostface.
And I was like, what's a good, like I'm walking back to where they ciphering at in slow motion, like, what beat I should do, what beat I should do, what beat I should do, that they go.
And these are the same guys that just told you to run it.
They just told me to run it. Right. So when I
pulled up. So what makes you go back then?
Because I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to get hurt. I'm not trying to get beat up and all of that. Like, I'm like, I got to figure out another way to get around this. You know what I'm saying? If I could provide some type of value to whatever they doing, then it's like, just like a comedian.
No, you're right.
A comedian that goes into a certain intense situation, he makes people laugh and break the tension.
And they forget about whatever they was going to do.
So in retrospect, I mean, I wasn't thinking all this at the time. I was young, but I was just like, I got to do something else because I'm not beating all these niggas at one time. Right. So I went over to the joint and I just started going. Doom, boom, doom, 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 boom, doom, boom, boom, doom, boom, boom, doom, doom, doom. They like, yo, what boy doing? What he doing? I just hit him with the
yeah. That makes me want to rap. Right.
So I kicked that affirmative action beat and they all went crazy. And they started freestyling. They like, yo, boy, your name is Swizzy. And I was like, Swizzy. And I was like, Swizzy, what do they mean? Like Swiss Beats. That's your name now. Like Swizzy. And that
so you the original Swiss Beats?
No, I'm not the original Swiss Beats. Shout out to Swiss. No. But he definitely inspired me. And they called me that because I had a big head, a long nose, no freaky. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it went from there. So now it's like, yo, that's the beatbox guy. Don't fuck with him.
Don't fuck with him, right?
You know what I'm saying?
We need him for the music.
Yeah, when we go to the yard to impress the chicks and all of that, bring him out too. The staff, I used to entertain the staff and all of that. They'd be like, yo, you know how to do that new Busta Rhymes song? Yo, let me hear that. You know what I'm saying? So I started understanding my value in that fashion, and I started moving with that in the prison system. Right. Initially. But when I went to Rikers Island, it was a whole different story.
That didn't work in Rikers Island.
It didn't work the same way.
So what?
At all. It did not work the same way.
I'm assuming you tried it and that wasn't the same outcome.
Well, I didn't get a chance to try it, to tell you the truth, because when I first went to C74 in 1999, I had it was big gang culture in there, so you had Bloods, and they weren't really letting the Crips live in there.
Right.
At that time, so one of my closest friends, Rod Diggs, Free Rod Diggs, he had the jail on smash, the whole C-74 building, and he was the big homie in there. So even though we knew each other, we grew up together and everything, I had to fend for myself still.
Right.
So he's like, you're not gonna use my name to live. You know what I'm saying? So I come into the house unit, I got a shiny blue Guess jean suit on, I got a sky blue iceberg
sweater.
Snoopy sweater on and all that, and sky blue and gray Air Maxes. You know, the ones that go around in the circle all around. I'm fly as fuck, but I look Crip.
Right.
So I walk in between the A and B gate. So they run to the gate like, oh, there's a what do they call it? A crab. No disrespect to any Crips out there, but at that time they were saying, yo, there's a crab on the gate, da da da, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, the fuck is that? Where you see a crab at?
You're looking for an actual crab, right?
I'm looking for an actual crab. I'm looking at the gate. I don't see nothing they talking about. So I walk in the housing unit with my stuff. CO like, yo, you in cell such and such. I'm like, all right. Go to my cell. Dudes come through. They like, yo, listen, run your PIN number. They was like, yo, this is how it's gonna go. You're gonna give us your PIN number for the phone. If you go in the commissary, you're giving us half of that. You lucky we're gonna let you keep half. And you get anything on a visit, if you're getting weed, drugs, or whatever, bring that back to the crib, or we're gonna spank you. I'm like, wow, this reminds me of fucking Sparford. All right, cool. So I didn't come out my cell. Right. I'm like, fuck that, I ain't coming out my cell right now. And a few hours passed, and my cell door opened. Niggas just ran up in there and jumped me.
Just ran up in there?
They just ran up in there, like 4 niggas ran up in there. I was laying down. They ran up in there, jumped me, beat me under the fucking bed, took my sneakers, because I had took everything off. I was in like my boxes and shit.
Right,
so they just took all my clothes and shit and threw a jumper in there. And at that time they had these things we called patakis. That was the governor. Mm-hmm. But they like skippies. Throw the skippies in there, you'll put that on. Yo, CO, close gate, cell, bum. Close my gate, so now I'm in there like, yo, nah, I'm not going through this now. Rod Diggs come to my cell, he was like, yo, you good? I was pissed. I'm like, yo, no, I ain't fucking good, nigga. I want to fight everybody. Why these niggas ain't give me a fair one? Boom, boom. So he like, all right, don't worry. We're going to let you out in the morning. The morning come, they let us out for breakfast. I go to the pantry to get my breakfast. One of the niggas that jumped me was like, yo, it was Frosties. So at that time, Frosted Flakes and bananas was like a big thing.
Right.
If you ate Frosties, you rocked. Like you was that nigga. Them niggas wasn't trying to give me my Frosties. So now I'm looking around and I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work at all. So one of the niggas that jumped me was on the phone, but he had his back to me. Peep this. It's a bubble where the police is sitting at.
Right.
So he got his back to me and he's on the phone and he's jerking off to the police in the bubble. Niggas was on wicked time at that time. So I'm like, yo, I'm about to ice this nigga. I'm gonna catch him right now. So I went in the slop room where all of the cleaning equipment is, and they had these long wooden scrub brushes. They banned them since then. And I took one of them shits and I just taka right across his face, broke his jaw, his nose, and all of that. And of course they jumped me again, but I got the best of this nigga. And that essentially like set the trend. Once I broke that fear of getting jumped or retaliation, I just started wilding. Like they took me out of that crib, put me in another crib. As soon as I walk in the crib, I'm popping it off. I'm not talking to nobody, I'm not saying nothing. I walk in, whoever it is, they jump me, boom, I go to the next crib. By the time I got to the third housing unit, they was like, nah, we heard about you, bro, you good. You good, bro, you chilling here, you heard?
Nah,
like niggas ain't fucking with you.
Right.
And then it just escalated like to me cutting people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because now it becomes a thing where
did they have with the mitts?
They had me at Red ID at one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where I had to wear mitts.
You had to wear mitts. That's how you know the cutters. They get to wear the mitts. Right.
Yep. They put mitts on you and then put the handcuffs over it so you don't have access to cut anybody.
Right.
And I started wilding on that once I seen like niggas really was starting to get scared of me. Like, yo, such and such coming to court with us, bro. This nigga gonna be wilding. And I'd be like, no, I'm chilling. Right. Leave me the fuck alone. Right. Just don't bother me, bro. Don't ask me about my sneakers. And at that time we was rocking Coogee, Iceberg, Polo, all of that. This is early 2000s. Right. So it just escalated, man, and it turned me to somebody that I really wasn't. That's the sad part. Right. Because in the street, I wasn't like that. I keep it all the way a buck. In the street, I wasn't toting the hammer and capping. I wasn't with none of that. Right. I was just a thief. I was just stealing shit.
And that's the part of the prison system I wanted to speak to you about. In your case, do you think going in there made you worse in terms of behavior?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That
so
shit
it's not really a
worse.
correctional facility.
No, it's not a correctional. It's a
like, speak on that.
Uncorrectional facility because it's gladiator school. You know what I'm saying? You go in there one way, you come out another, and you take that mentality, you bring it out here in the street.
Right. And because it's a repetitive cycle. They hope you go out there and you keep going back.
Right.
It's a rotation.
It's that whole pipeline theory where it's like you start off going to elementary school, you graduate to junior high, you go from junior high to high school to college. I went through that same pipeline, but in prison.
In prison.
I started in DFY, right? Detention for Youth. Went from there to Rikers Island. Graduated from Rikers Island to up north.
Right.
To a state facility. Luckily, I never been to the feds, and thank God for that. But the thing was, it turned me into another person. Like now, I don't have no fear of going to somebody's mouth in the street. I have no fear of pulling a gun out on somebody and threatening them. Like I had no fear of that no more because of what happened in prison. You know what I mean? And every time I graduated, in essence, I got worse.
Right.
Because going from Rikers Island with that wild mentality, that gladiator school, and going upstate, them crackers don't play that.
Right.
So I almost got killed by police in Kasaki in 2001 when I did my first state bid. That whole George Floyd knee on your neck, I went through that shit.
Oh man.
If it wasn't for a riot that started in the yard, them niggas would have killed me. The police would have left me there. You feel me? So it escalates from one form of violence to another.
Right.
And you learn through trial and error as you go along. Now everybody's not like that.
Right.
There's some people that they play their position. They know they soft. They know they're not gonna do nothing. And I don't blame them.
Right.
That's them. But me coming up the way I came up, I couldn't deal with that. Right. I couldn't be the nigga that every time I go to jail and I go somewhere, that nigga pussy. I couldn't. Nah, you're not gonna say that about me. Nah.
Right. Now, how did you change that way? I guess that I mean, that's kind of like survival mode. You put you in a situation like that, you're surviving. That's how I look at that.
Yeah.
But when you were in there, most people when they're in that situation, they're not thinking about something positive they're gonna do when they get out. How did you get the mindset to say, no, when I get out, man, I'm gonna get the company. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do something positive. I don't want to be in this situation.
That wasn't until way later, bro.
Right.
Like. That whole narrative of better late than never applies to me 110%. I'm 40 years old.
Right.
And I didn't get it till I was in my mid-30s. So my last bid I did 7 from 2014 to 2021 in May. And that's when I decided to go to college.
Right.
So the turning point for me was I copped out to this bid. I go up north. I go to the Manhattan House. I'm in the Tombs for about a year and a half, and my great-grandmother passed away. So she was like my rock. And the police, the DEPs or whatever, wasn't trying to let me go out for her funeral. Right. They saying that she wasn't a direct descendant of me. So I flipped the fuck out, I wilded out, and then I just made a vow to her in spirit. Like, I'm gonna do the right thing from now on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever time they give me, whatever I gotta do when I go back up top, I'm gonna make it right. If I gotta get my education, take in all kind of programs, whatever, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And that was the breaking point. Even though I still went through some shit that I put on myself. As soon as I got up north, I went to Fishkill. They had a college program called BARD Prison Initiative. I did the entrance exam and I got in there. And I never took that shit for granted. $250,000 education I got for free.
For free, right.
You feel me? Or I took advantage of it, and my whole bid I did in Fishkill.
Right.
Which is like an hour and a half from New York.
Right.
And it went well for me. That's when the transition started. That's when I started seeing things differently by getting my education and knowing how institutions work.
Right.
Like, I'm the way I am for a reason, but it's things outside of me that influence my movements.
Right.
And what I do.
Now, speaking of influence, like I said, I switch all over the place.
Yeah.
What do you think your I guess what do you bring to the table on the expert opinion? Is it the street side? You can connect. You can offer, guidance. You can offer information, knowledge on how to move, or like what role do you play on that show? In your opinion,
the role I play on that show, there's a few things. My thing is that I'm constantly conscious of how the viewers are looking at me.
Okay.
Because me walking in the street and bumping into people that recognize me, they tell me, like, yo, we like the fact that you're poised, that you sit and listen before you respond. You just don't say anything out your mouth.
Right.
And then the wisdom I give based off of my experience.
Right.
The street value, of course, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My street record is flawless, so my prison record is flawless. But the whole inspiration behind, like, it's never too late to actually be something and get somewhere and get on a platform if you just keep at it.
Right.
You know, I think it's more inspiring.
Right.
Than anything else,
right.
With the value I bring to that show.
All right. So from the time you've been on there to now, who, in your opinion, is your favorite guest?
Shit.
if you have one.
Damn.
Or who was the most entertaining?
I ain't gonna lie, it's a tie between Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder.
Well, they were there together, right?
Yeah,
so
they were there together.
Like, you know what I mean?
But that one and.
Well, okay, let's stop there. Why that one? Because of the ruckus?
That one because it was it's not even that. It was so authentic.
It was so authentic, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like Yayo was him.
He was definitely
that is Yayo. Like that's what I know Yayo for, being loud, saying however he feel, don't care about what nobody think.
Right.
And that's what brings him value, that he's himself.
Right.
But outside of that interview, I really liked. Well, I can't speak on it yet because it ain't come out yet.
It didn't come out yet.
But there's an interview coming out that's gonna be my top one.
Okay, has there been an interview that you wasn't too fond of? You're like, I'm not into this one.
Damn, you put me on the spot, bro.
But respectfully, I mean, not we're not throwing anybody in the bus. But was there someone that just wasn't? Didn't have a personality? Because you got people that don't have personality.
This is kind of known. So like, Lil C's kind of disappointed me.
How so?
With his interview, he danced around a lot of questions.
Okay.
And shout out to Lil C's.
I call that media training. He's media training.
That wasn't media training, bro.
I tried to help him. That wasn't it. All right.
It wasn't media training. You know, sometimes guests could get too lit on the show.
Okay.
So, you know, sometimes they get too lit, then how they respond, sometimes they get defensive when you ask certain questions and stuff like that. They're not really open to the narrative, understanding that there's a camera on you.
Right.
But you know, Biggie's daughter was there too. TT, shout out to her.
Okay.
And you know, telling C's like, yo, come on, like, you know, answer the questions. And then when we would go on break, he's talking about everything.
Right.
And we come back off a break and it's like, bro, you still dancing around the questions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that is media training.
I mean, it is. Listen, I don't know nothing about media training.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I learned
training.
as I went along. And it's just like my nigga, you on a big ass platform.
Yeah, you said off camera, not on. That's media training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
That's what
but that was it. But overall, it was a good interview to have him there and speak on things that he normally don't speak about.
Right.
Was great. But he could have said more.
Right. Now, if you had a dream guest, who would that be? You get any artist.
Jay-Z, bro.
It would be Jay-Z. Why Jay-Z?
Come on, man.
Why Jay-Z?
That's
it's
the
your
God.
boy.
That's the God, man. I mean,
I see that happening. To be honest with you,
I see that happening. It's a toss-up between 50.
I definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I would say.
I see
50 more so.
I see 50 before Jay-Z though.
Yeah,
I definitely see 50.
I can see that because 50 is more with his ear to the street. He's a dope ass guerrilla marketer.
Right.
So he always has his ear to the street. He knows what's going on, and he has no problem coming on the platform and speaking on what he wants to speak on with no cap.
Right.
So I would say 50 Cent would be my the dream interview to have him on my expert opinion and in the YKTV magazine.
Right.
Because of his hustler's ambition, all the things he's accomplished, all the things he's overcome, and all of the barriers he continues to break, week by week.
Right.
And the opportunities he presents to others.
Right. Now, you've recently had an encounter with him, positive encounter, like you met him, correct?
Yeah, I met 50 on more than one occasion since I've been home. Shout out to my man Trigger Ock.
Okay.
I actually drove all the way to Boston to meet 50.
Share that story, because I like people to see what they don't see. Like people to see you in a position and understand what you did to get in that position. You know what I mean?
So it was actually 3 occasions. So the first time, 50 was doing an appearance at Club Bounce.
Okay.
By Taj, and this was dead ass cold outside, bro. This was like winter 2021. And my son Trigger, yo, big homie pull up, bro. So I pull up, we standing outside, it's cold as fuck. He pull up, we all fucking mosh pitted basically into the fucking club, and you know, I didn't get to say nothing to him, but he seen me, right? And that was enough for me. Like I adapt, he seen me, I was good, and I left.
Okay.
The next time was in Boston. I'm in Jersey making some music, and Trigger I called me again. Yo, Champ, what you doing? I'm in the crib. What's up? Yo, Fifth in Boston. He doing something at Big Night Live. Pull up. I'm like, my nigga, right now.
He around the corner and shit.
He like, yeah, the show gonna be tonight. It's 5 o'clock. It take you like 3.5 to get here. Just pull up. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Even if nothing comes out of it, I'm going because I'm a fan of this
teachable
nigga.
moment, sacrifice, right there.
So I got in my car, bought a bunch of fucking granola bars and Red Bull, had some bud, drive all the way up there.
Dolo,
yeah. I move Dolo a lot, but I get up there, go backstage to the green room. Yayo there, Murder, and I meet Fifth, and Fifth was like, I gave him a dap. And he was like, oh yeah, you the magazine nigga. And that's based off of him just seeing me. His memory is crazy, bro. Because I had a jacket with the magazine name on it.
Self promo, I love it.
Yeah, so, but the mistake I made was I did not bring a magazine with me.
Like you did today, right?
Yeah, it's all good. If you want to see it, just go on YKTVmagazine.com.
Yeah, there it is.
But I didn't bring it with me, but we got to build a little bit.
Okay.
Right, and then the next time I seen him was at Harbor. I pulled up to Harbor. That was the night that he was there with Buster, not too long ago. A few other cats.
Right.
So I seen him there again. Yo, what up? Magazine nigga.
Right.
Cool. I'm cool with that. He recognizes that I'm something. But now at this point, if I was to meet him again, it'd be different.
Right.
Because now it's like, well, that's the nigga from Math Hopper show.
That too. And
in the magazine.
And you don't disrespect
you know
now
what
too.
I'm saying?
And he's like,
and now this is 50.
He's on my platform now. No, who the fuck is it?
This dude just keep getting closer and closer to me. You know what I'm saying?
Closer, right.
But
steps.
Yeah, baby steps, and I'm a dude that's believes wholeheartedly in trusting the process.
Right.
I don't rush the process. However the universe works, I just flow.
Right.
with it.
Now, speaking of the process, what is your process? Like, what are you looking to get out of your accomplishment goals or whatever? Like 5 years from now, what's the process? What do we want to do? What do we want to be?
So I want to be. Right now, I'm working on branding myself, right, as an individual. Because
I mean, I'm looking.
Oh yeah, this is my little ego line. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on?
It's the battle of the ego right here.
Right.
But is to be known as a overall connoisseur in the culture.
Right. Okay.
Right. Known for overcoming the bids, being able to still be alive unscathed, being sharp, having multiple businesses, showing others how to calculate and strategize to get to where they have to go.
Right.
Being a great manager without no cap or no bullshit to artists and producers, right? Because I currently have a couple of those under my belt.
Okay.
The magazine continuing to blossom and become worldwide. I want to be that guy that's known like, if he did it, anybody could do it.
Thank you.
That's what I want to be known for. I want to go around the country and talk to these kids. I want to do TED Talks. You know what I mean? Let them know what it's really hitting for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let them know the ugly side of this shit and how you can get to the pretty side of it.
Exactly. All right. That makes sense.
And helping evolve
right.
Math's platform as well.
Right. Now being in this industry, in this business, or what you do, what are the things that you hate about it?
Niggas be lying, bro. Niggas is always
maybe fitted capping. I call it fitted capping.
Yo, I got
you got snapbacks and there's fitted caps.
Bro, I'm not gonna say names.
You can if you want.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna bring them no attention.
Oh, okay, cool.
But there's one individual I met, man, where on the surface you would think like, oh, this guy is it. You know, he took me around when I first came home. Now there was 2 individuals that did that. Now shout out to Shampoo from YNBS.
Oh yeah, salute to Shampoo.
Salute to Shampoo. That's my OG.
He has a crazy name. He has no hair, but it's called Shout out to Shampoo.
That's
my guy, man.
Yeah, that's
Shampoo,
my OG.
that's my guy. Yeah.
He's the guy that like I met him when I first came home, and he just took me under the wing and was like, yo, I like your hunger. You always outside by yourself. It don't matter what time it is. You dolo, you here, you there. And I'm going to take you around and introduce you to people, and our relationship flourished from there. He's still my OG.
Right.
But there was another individual on the opposite side of that was playing that role.
Right.
And taking me around, and he started taking credit for shit that I did. Right? Because niggas don't know who I am. They like, well, that's just the magazine nigga that came home from jail. Right? And it became a thing where one time I interviewed Dame Dash.
Shout out to Dame Dash.
Yeah, shout out to Dame,
I got a story
man.
with Dame, but go ahead. Let's continue.
I had interviewed Dame Dash through Zoom, but I had got to Dame through a woman named Michelle Smalls, the Queen of Harlem. Shout out to her. And she got him on the phone for me. We did the interview through Zoom for the magazine, put him on the cover, the shit went, and everything was good. So one day, me and this individual, we in the studio. I'm in Studio B making beats. He in another room. He come running into the Studio B that I'm in with Dame on FaceTime. He like, yo, Dame, I'm in here. Yeah, you know, we got the magazine put together for you. We gonna push that to you right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had to make that play for you. I'm like, the fuck is you lying for, man?
Right there.
Stop fucking lying, bro. You capping. Like, you have nothing to do with this product that was built. You ain't connect nan dot. Stop lying to niggas. And it wasn't only him. It was other people.
And you did that on the spot.
Yeah, right there.
You're on the spot. Right.
Yeah,
Authentic.
So, you was in the other studio that night. Yeah. Shout out to my boy Dion Young, man.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, dope guy. Because I want to touch on the music too, but real quick, I gotta shout out Dame, man. So I have this company called the BBS Boys. It's a classic car rental company. And Dame was the only one of his statue that literally reached out to us and said, "I want to do a TV show with you." Didn't know it's from a can of paint, but he just loved what we were doing. And he put his money where his mouth is. So I definitely want to salute to Dame. Because there are people that'll sit and watch what you do. They wait for the outcome. They want to be a part of the progress. You know what I mean? And Dame is not like that. He's a part of the progress. Yeah. So I definitely shout out to Dame. You know what I mean?
I learned a lot from him in that interview that we did, and I appreciate that wisdom, man.
Right.
Real.
Word. Now speaking of music, that's kind of how me and you met.
Yes.
Like, I came in the studio, and Matt Hoffer, he's the instigator. He wants to instigate a beat battle or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that day.
You remember that day? So we started playing beats. And I'm like, oh shit, this shit is dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you got some real dope shit. Like I said, you do a lot of shit. And that's why I wanted to bring you up here, man. You're a man of many talents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to display that, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I appreciate that.
Definitely. How did you get into beat making?
Well, like, again, you know, I beatbox. So I actually learned how to make beats while I was locked up.
Okay.
The first bit I did, I had bought a Casio CTK like 1000 or some shit.
Wonder know what that is.
You know what that is, right? Yeah. So I was behind the wall and I was making beats. I sat in myself for hours and taught myself how to play the keys by ear.
By ear. That's the best way.
Every time I came home, like, okay, so my timeline is this. From 96 to 99, I was in DFY. Came home in 99, went to Rikers Island, went upstate from 2000 to 2003. Came home, went back upstate in 2004, came home in 2006. Went back upstate again 2007, came home 2012. Went back upstate again 2014, came home 2021. So every time I came home, I learned more and more about how to make beats. So I started using Fruity Loops. FL Studio.
Okay.
And I transitioned into that, and that's always been my passion, was beat making.
Right.
So it started from prison.
So who are your top 5 producers of all time?
Oh, that's easy. Dr. Dre, Kanye West, RZA, Timbaland, and Timbaland. Who's my 5th one? I'm not gonna lie. Boy Wonder.
Boy Wonder?
One that do a lot of stuff with Drake. Actually, it's a tie between him and T-.
The T-?
Yeah,
wow,
them two. They sound as crazy.
That's dope. Now, I love that list. Dr. Dre's actually my favorite, and then Premier is second.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
shout out to Premier.
You know what I mean? Now, somebody got to rap on those beats. Who's your favorite MC? Give me your top 5 MCs of all time.
Shit.
Because somebody got to spit on those beats.
Well, Biggie, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Obviously, Jay.
Okay.
Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Nas and Busta Rhymes.
Right. Now, you know who my favorite of all time is? Just me. Everybody has their own, thing. Big L.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
Big L is a strong 6 for me because I didn't see. My thing is that what I realized when people ask that top 5 question is based off of what you was going through during that time of music.
Right.
So me being incarcerated, those 5 people I named helped me get through a lot of shit while I was incarcerated. So I can literally name the album, the year, and where I was at when it came out and what it helped get me through.
There's also people I respect, and actually one of them sitting in the room, but I'm gonna call his name now. My man P.
Yes, shout out
Fred
to P.
Fred the Godson.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, Fred. Oh
yeah.
my God. Bro.
And here's the one here's one that you may or may not know. This is where Big L got it from. Lord Finesse.
Yeah. Shout out to Lord Finesse. Digging in the crates.
Digging in the crates.
Yeah.
You're talking about, because I'm big on punchlines.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he used to say some crazy ass punchlines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the earlier years.
Yeah,
You're right.
In AZ. People don't give AZ his credit either. You know what I mean?
AZ too.
AZ is it's dope. You know, like I said, these are my, everybody has their own opinion.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I just.
But one of the things also is like consistency.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if a rapper that's fire drops an album in '96 and they don't come back out again in 2021,
that
kind of lose your flavor for them, and you go to somebody else that fills their void.
That happened with a lot of people. That's how a lot of people got on, because people took these crazy hiatuses where it left room for somebody else that came out. Now we like this guy. You haven't put out an album in 30 fucking years.
Right.
Point in case, Lauryn Hill.
Yeah. That's a fact.
She went diamond, her first album, and never came back out.
Never came back out again.
So, how many ladies have came out since Lauryn Hill? See my point?
Millions.
You know what I mean? Word. So you got to stay consistent.
You have to.
You have to stay, especially in this game. It's like the music, the way it's consumed now. It's not like before when you had to go buy the records. It was physical. Now every 5 minutes somebody put an album out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the crazy thing. We learned that early on with the magazine,
right,
as far as mass production. Like that's why Future became such a big artist, because he was dropping shit like every week, bro.
Right.
You couldn't go nowhere without hearing a Future record.
Right.
Same thing with Fifth. You know what I'm saying? When he went from
flooded the market, killed it.
The mixtape game and transitioned to the mainstream, but he kept putting shit out.
Right.
Consistently. So that's very important.
I want you to promote your guy here too, man.
Like Dion Young, yes.
Dion Young, right.
Yes, this is my brother Dion Young. He got a album out right now called Kissing on Saturday.
Kissing on Saturday? Okay, I like that title. That's a creative title. That title alone.
Kissing on Saturday.
I heard some of your stuff, brother. I was in the studio and I asked him, who was that singing? And he was like, is that the same guy? And
Yep.
You a hook master, bro. You do dope ass hooks.
Yeah, that's my goal.
You know what I mean? You might. I got an idea for a chain for you. You get an iced out chain with a hook. Iced out hook. You get it? Woo! Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I'm up here for a reason. Come on. That's dope. You do dope ass hook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but me and Dion met. Me and Dion met in 2021, right?
Yeah, I think so.
2021 through a mutual party.
Right.
And, off the rip, I was like, nigga, this shit is fire.
Right.
Like, off the rip, and he like goes off the top of the head. He's written for a lot of other people. His choice in fucking beats and video, visuals, and everything is like top notch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's like self-made. It's not like he's a nigga that had to attach himself to something to be somebody.
Right.
He's self-made. So when we met, me believing in what he's doing, and then the drive and hustle I got, the drive and hustle he got, we just automatically meshed, and we've been moving since then.
Right. Now, if people want to get in contact with you, follow you, support you, get some knowledge or gain from you, how can they do that if they choose to do so?
So again, you can go on my Instagram. Like I said, I'm always in my DMs. Follow me at hustlerealhard_82, the number 82.
Right.
I will respond to you, whether it's a request or I already follow you and it's a primary message. If you're trying to order magazines for your incarcerated loved ones, go to yktvmagazine.com, and there's all kind of magazines we got. We drop 12 issues every 2 months.
Damn, work.
So we got virals, we got pussy books for the guys in New York State. We got foreplay issues. We got I Love Girls, just Instagram models, every and anything.
Right.
If you're looking to line yourself up with JPay to get your music in the prison system, hit me up through my IG as well.
Okay.
Helped a lot of artists get on there. And if you're looking to advertise and get your music sold in the prison, come and holler at me as well.
Right. Okay. So before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to speak on or chop it up about that we didn't touch on?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to DJ Thoro.
Thank you.
This is 50.com. Shout out to shout out to my boy Dion Young.
Boy Wonder
behind the lens. Shout out to all of y'all, man. 50, man. Get 50. At me, man.
We're gonna make it happen.
Get at me, man. Get at me, 50, man. I got a lot to offer. I'm a very valuable person, man.
One thing about Fifth, you don't even gotta do that. Fifth sees everything.
Yeah.
He sees everything. They have this thing called when you hot, you don't gotta look for nobody. They gonna come looking for you.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
They don't come looking for you.
That's a fact.
It's like the feds. They gonna come looking for you.
Absolutely.
You gotta look for them. They gonna find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I want to lastly, I want to say shout out to my brother, Mr. Gyro, the owner of YKTB magazine.
Right.
You know, for presenting me the opportunity and helping me not come back home and live a criminal lifestyle again. I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Math Hoffa, my expert opinion. Everybody on the staff. Appreciate y'all for that opportunity as well, and we're gonna keep leveling up.
Right.
Man.
I wish you much continued success, man. Thank you for coming through.
Of course, man.
All right. And I got
Appreciate
this thing I always tell people, man. Support who supports you.
Absolutely.
All right. We far too often we worry about who's not supporting us, and we lose focus on the people or the support system we have, and we lose that. Support who supports you, and don't be influenced. Be the influence.
Absolutely.
All right. You like
Absolutely.
that, right?
Yeah, yo, I'm managing this guy. Yo, listen, if y'all want Thoro to DJ, do speaking engagements, y'all want some of them BBS rims, whatever, holla at Champ.
There it is. Holla at Champ. Yeah, holla at Champ. That's my new manager. He said it. There it is. And you know what it is, man? Like always, when you see us, one knee us. Let me get on one knee and pay respects. Kiss the ring. We out.
10 men, 20 men, 30 men, I'm on something.